Yo gamers, what's up? It's your boy Goldemon12 back with another Honkai Star Rail video, and actually let me adjust the mic real quickly so I don't have to scream into it as much. It is what it is. But yeah, today I just want to do a general like account overview or showcase since it's been a year since the game come out and really talk about my thoughts on the game and all that stuff as well as future characters. And so yeah, hopefully this video is both informative, entertaining, and uh, all that jazz. That's really about it. I know a lot of people asked about my builds and other videos I posted, all this stuff, and so that's mainly what I'm gonna do. So, in case you guys don't know, I'm completely free to play. I don't like spending money on gacha games, and I'll tell you honestly right now, the only time I've ever spent money on a gacha game was a year and a half ago at this point, and some of y'all are gonna laugh at me for this one, but my only time I've ever spent money ever on a gacha game, despite the fact that I play multiple gacha games, right, is when on Dia for a C2R1 Dia back when she came out. Yes, a standard unit in Genshin Impact, a very casual game. Uh, say what you will, Dia's a awesome character, but her kit is complete dog shit, right? So it is what it is. And that's the only time I've ever spent money on a gacha game. And so I just want to get that out of the way. I'm complete free to play in every gacha game. I overpower these games with smarts and all that jazz, right? But let's get into it. So, I gotta pause for a second because I was gonna say something completely different. In terms of what I summon for, right? Because again, in case you don't watch this channel, I talk about meta a lot, but I don't necessarily summon for meta, right? I'm a much more of a, enjoy the game enjoyer, right? You should have fun with the game. Screw constantly summoning for meta. That can get cringe and stale for a lot of people. Unless you are a meta gamer, then obviously you're gonna summon meta or try to, plan accordingly, right? I don't do that. I just get who I like, and normally that ends up working pretty well, right? I just so happen to, before the character comes out, like their design, and then in Acheron's case they're overpowered, so it's like awesome. I just so happen to summon for the best 2 DPS because I already like them. It just is what it is, right? And that's sort of what happens. This happens for all of my gacha games, but let's go over all my units and let's talk about it. So, over the course of my free-to-play grinding, I've collected a lot of characters, or I'd say a lot of characters. I've gotten pretty lucky. In fact, let me actually pull up my summon history so you guys can see sort of what I've been summoning, and I can sort of talk about why I summon for each character. All right, so here we have is my summon history, right, of characters, and you can sort of see that I've done, at least, of course, over the year of free-to-play, I would have had over 1,000 summons to work with, so that's quite a lot. I'd say honestly, and this goes more so because it's over 1,000, in fact, because I've summoned on Weapon Banner a little bit, right? And there's a whole discussion between here's my 50 for the starter banner, right? 100, 340 for the base banner. Not very good luck here with that, but there's a whole discussion about free to play summoning on Weapon Banner, and a lot of it stems from the Genshin community transferring over the Honkai, and people are saying like, oh, don't go for weapons. Now, generally in Honkai, there's a much bigger gap between viability for units and not having their light cone, because in Genshin, it's typically like 10% at the most, right? Other than that, it's a very small increase in gain for their actual weapons, and this goes for everybody in that game, right? There's hardly any like outliers in that regard, or in some cases, when a character comes out, like Xiao, for example, or Zhang Li, right? The weapon that comes with them isn't even their best in slot, right? And maybe Xiao's not the best example, but my you understand my point with sometimes a character gets a better weapon down the line in Genshin because there isn't that big of a gap between that and their other weapons, or they get another, flexible option, right? But in this game, it's a little bit different because what they've been doing is they've been making these light cones incredibly like niche, or more to say, they've been making the light cones function intentionally with this character's kit. So it's not like this light cone can't be used. There's no like, oh, it has to be on this character to function sort of thing. It's the light cone is designed around that character's kit specifically, so that it doesn't really work well on other characters. And a good example is Jingliu's light cone, right? Because it gives her the crit and it gives her damage percent per 8 ally like HP change, right? Like decrease. Uh, and what Jingliu does in her buff stage, she drains everybody's HP. But here's the thing. unless your allies get hit, you can't even use this entire passive uh, on any other character. And it's only for one attack, too. Jingli does it on every attack, so she maxes it out on every single attack. However, nobody else can do this. So they could get one attack off, and then their other attacks aren't buffed, right? So they can't even fully utilize her light cone, right? And so it's there's a big discussion about whether or not it's worth something for light cone on these characters, and I think I've done pretty well, all things considered. Now we can cut out Topaz because Topaz was a one tap and done scenario. Because like I was able to get her with my remaining summons after summoning for Klee U, but you can see within the multi right after I got Welth, and so I got incredibly lucky on this banner, and that was able to give me a guarantee to skip over all the way to Run May and get her immediately, right? With whatever pools I had from the updates in between, right? So I got really lucky here, and so we can just exclude Topaz because I was able to like get this in a couple multis and just be done. And that was really just luck there. But other characters like Klee U, right, I had to struggle to sort of go for as hard pity, and in some cases Akron's like 80 pity, right? So I haven't had the best luck there, but yeah, I do think for certain characters it is worth getting. I think like Akron, it's definitely worth getting, because it makes her easier to use for a lot of players, right? Even though the damage gap realistically is like 30%, which granted it's anywhere from like 20 to 30%, which granted is a much bigger gap than most other DPS characters. The next biggest one I could think of is like Blade at like 25% damage increase over not having his weapon, but like generally, I think it's okay to summon for light guns in this game, mainly for your DPS characters, right? I don't think supports need their light cones, like whatsoever. Some supports you could argue they want their light cone a lot because it's very impactful, but characters like Fu Xuan and other supports, I don't think need their light cones. I think it's much more worthwhile getting the light cone for your like specific DPS, right? But it's more of a character to character thing and an account to account thing. Because some people they're gonna want that light cone because it's their favorite character, or they think they need it for a setup, right? And so that's totally fine. But I would say you should probably reserve your summons more and make careful decisions instead of just summoning for the new best character because power creep or whatever, right? Like just save your summons for a specific thing and invest into that, because so far in this game from what I've seen, you get a lot out of hyper investing into a specific thing instead of like trying to spread it out to advantage. Now granted, you can still go for like those full type coverage DPSs like Akron because she's good in literally everything, so that is something you can do, but I'm just saying to be careful with your decisions on summoning, right? Because you might make a mistake and get someone like Jing Yuan who regret, which I don't regret him. I did a whole video on that. I'm not going to talk about that here, but you understand what I'm saying, right? You don't want to like accidentally mess up on summons and be like, oh, I wish it, could refund this character sort of thing, right? You don't want to have that, so be careful what you summon for. But as you can see, I've had pretty decent luck now. Uh, I say decent, but then I've lost like most 50/50s and then had to like go for the guarantee on the character. And for my E2 Acheron, which you'll see in a second, it was an interesting summon session. I didn't, in case you guys didn't check the channel, I didn't actually upload me getting the E2 yet. That's because I intend to do it in a separate video. But I've been working on that one and obviously live stuff, so there's that. But yeah, here's my summons. That's really about it. I don't have much more to say. I do think some of these characters are really good, and I'll be honest, I think Acheron and Runmei are must summons, to be honest with you. Now, people are going to say, oh, Robin. That will be for a later video, but yeah, that's basically that. So let's hop over to my characters, right? As you can see, here are all my characters on screen, right? We've got every single base character. It took me a while, but I did actually end up pulling every single base character. And in fact, I have an E1 Japar, and I believe I have an E1 Welth as well. Yeah, there's the E1. And so I've had an interesting time with summons. I just recently got Bilo. I'm not going to use her because she's terrible, but it is what it is. So yeah, there's all those characters. There's these people down here and all of this. So just to sort of quickly, not quickly clarify, go over these characters real quickly. I intend to level up and like finish builds for all these characters you see up here. I'll star them whenever the update goes live. Huge quality of life. And so everybody, all these characters I intend to level, even though I don't like them. Like I like Asta, but her kit I don't like before she's E6. She feels awful to use. I think she's terrible before E6, to be honest with you. But yeah, all these characters I intend to level up and and like do something with for the most part. Maybe not Welts, because I don't feel like he does anything for me. Uh, we I'm not gonna talk about Jing Yuan in this video, but E2 Acheron. And so yeah, I basically besides that, I have, as you can see, other characters leveled. I'm not actually going to use these three here. They're just going to be abandoned for the most part. Maybe actually no, I'll level up March, but that's for her new version coming out in the future. So I'll end up leveling March in the future, and then probably Herta and Dr. Ratio, and then leave these other characters completely just untouched. Like, I don't need any of these characters down here, and so I won't use them, and they also don't really do anything for me. And I also don't think they're worth building just straight up, I'll be honest with you. That's a whole nother thing. Be like, oh, I built Simpa for DOT teams now. I don't think base Dan, Shashang, Clara, Yingqing, um, Bailu, Misha, Arlen, or Hook are worth building. You can build the two DOTs for DOT. Serval is okay, but again, that one's debatable. And then Lynx, Lynx is actually worth building if you don't have any other sustains. But I've got better sustains, and so yeah, there's that. But yeah, units aside, E2 Acheron. I finally have an E2 Acheron. I've got a pretty decent build with very high, investment. And yeah, I mean, she's E2. What more can I say? 100% crit over like 200 and that's 220. Wait, no, not 20. 222 crit damage, I believe. With the 24 crit damage buff you get from the 4-piece here. So it's a pretty solid build, all things considered. I would like to have more crit damage because it being under 200 is kind of cringe, but it is what it is, right? In case anybody wanted to look at the build. Okay, that is going to interrupt my recording. Awesome. Moving on. Moving on, we have my Pella with a whopping 160 speed. I want more speed on her, but it is what it is. We are rocking at S2 pearls. I've not had any pearls luck, and so I don't have enough effect hit rate for it to work ideally, but this is what we have here currently. Now, Pella's an interesting character because I have invested a lot more into, and there is one thing I've debated about running her is actually a DPS Pella. Now, currently I've got her on a full support setup, right? We have full Pinacone with full wind set so that she gets over this much speed, so she gets the turn advancement right. Normally I run this with the tutorial light cone, so she gets 2 turn ultimates and it's just going fast as possible. But this is definitely an upgrade over the previous version of my Pella that you may have seen in other videos. I did actually go and farm the one set since then just to do this, and this is definitely overkill. This is not a realistic build whatsoever. This is like a Giga Sweat build with Pella, because she can get like 3 over 3, not over, but she can get like 3 turns by herself in an MOC, right? And I don't think anybody should do this, to be honest with you. It's not really worth it, but it's just something that I have here, and she is E6. One of my, more used characters, right? Because of how powerful she is for a 4-star. And, yeah, eventually in the future, whenever we get that Pella replacement, I'll probably swap her over to a DPS Pella setup, like unironically, because there's a thing with Pella that you could do and run her as a DPS. There's 2 things to talk about this, right? So we have the new set, and Pella will apply a debuff all the time with this set while doing increased damage to debuff targets with this set, right? And so you run this with like, I mean, I don't know what light cone to use, really. You could use any light cone, but I need to run this of like a certain stat minimum and then go full crit stats of like 134 speed, right? And then she should be doing pretty good damage. But like, you see what I'm cooking here? Debuff set to get increased damage, right? We have the sets to buff her and get even more crit, right? Because enemies are going to die, right? So if she's on this set, she's going to get even more crit from the enemies dying. And so she's going to have a bunch of crit on a support character that's already debuffing the enemies and making you do more damage. And then that will work, right? So it's like kind of a meme build, but I do think there's an unironic way to run a crit Pella in the future. It won't be right now, but whenever Pella gets replaced by a future support, I'll probably convert her to a crit Pella just to see how good it is and if it's worth doing for like not memory chaos, pure fiction, right? You could do it in memory chaos, right? But her multipliers aren't too bad on like her skills, so I think it might actually kind of cook, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, but it is what it is. Yeah. We have my E1 Run May with her S5 members of the past light cone. I'll be honest, I need like 20 copies of this light cone because for whatever reason, Hoyoverse decided to make it the best in slot for every single Harmony character, unless you're doing like you know, your triple S5 dance 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 for your genuine, honest, completely neutral MOC and completely relatable MOC 12 zero cycle clear, right? But other than that, yeah, memory pass is like cracked, especially on Rune Mei. Fully invested. I've got her on the new Watchmaker set, pretty good. I do wish my boots actually had higher break, but it is what it is. And then we have Pinna Coney for the extra ER. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this roommate build is pretty damn good, I'll be honest with you. It could have been better if I didn't sacrifice some of the stats to get more break, because normally my roommate would have more HP, but I converted to like a defense body, or I think it was defense orb actually. No, it's because yeah, yeah. Either way, the point is I rolled different stats, so she had more defensive stats before, right? But I was trying to get more break, and so my break is like 210, just flat out, and I want it higher, honestly. But it's a pretty good Rune Mei build. She does everything she needs to do. There's the whole discussion between this and like Slow Mei, right? And I before Rune Mei came out, I actually recommended Slow Mei for like general use, but this is the way I use her just because, you know, I'm not trying to Giga Sweat. I just throw her on the team and she does what she needs to do. And yeah, awesome character. She's going to be great for the break team when that comes out. And then we, of course, have my Gallagher, who I'm trying to get better stats on. I mentioned before he came out a crit Gallagher. It's not worth doing whatsoever. It was more of a meme build. Yeah, he gets 250% damage on his basic after ultimate, but it's whatever. I did run him for a while on the what is it? Yeah, multiplication light cone just for the extra turn advancement. But I found that it wasn't really too helpful for my setups because I don't have enough speed. And there's a whole nother thing about that. But point is, I'm trying to get more speed and more break in my Gallagher build. It's not the best. I do have a complete immunity debuffs though with the 50 like effect res, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, Gallagher is a fantastic character. He's basically completely replaced Luocha. I got him E6 on his banner because of how hard I went for Acheron. And we are currently rocking this set on him. So yeah, he's performing very well. It'll be great to use him whenever the full break team comes out. But right now, just trying to improve his build. And I probably should continue leveling up this light cone just so he has the tanky, you know, base stats, right? And honestly, for having a level 50 light cone, that's pretty good. 3k HP with 1,200 defense. It's pretty good. But yeah, moving on, we have my Luocha, and all these builds are revamped from my old ones, so there is an increase here now. Listen, we can talk about why I've got a fully or nearly fully upgraded Luocha. It was a waste of time. Don't worry about it. Point is, I got a pretty solid build now with what I've got going on here, right? Almost 3k attack with 145 speed, and yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It's Luocha, right? The only thing is that if I get more copies of Post Stop like I want, right? I finally got like 2 more recently. I will be taking him off Von Whack as he doesn't really need this. I'll be putting him on something else, right? That helps the team more and I'll get more out of, right? So that will be nice to do when he finally comes out. Yeah, so I ungeared my MC. I know a lot of people were like, wait, weren't you the guy who made videos about running MC with Acheron? Yeah, I was. You want to know why I ungeared him? I don't really have that good of a reason. It's mainly because Gallagher is way more comfortable than I was thinking he would be for her. MC is, like I said, it's very matchup dependent and it's hard to run, and all that remains true. It's just Gallagher is so good, and I'm so impressed by his performance that I just prefer to run him. And then also I have Japar, so I had a better alternative in the first place. Granted, MC does technically get like the most stacks out of any character in the game for her, but even with my cracked build, I just ungeared MC because I'm not going to be using Preservation MC in the future. You guys will find out in a couple of days when 2.2 comes out, whenever I can actually build that character. Moving on to Japar, I've got a pretty good Japar build, and yeah, I mean, there's not really much to show here, so moving on. Uh, we have a speed tune Brony at the speed tune for my Klee U. I'm trying to get better crit damage on her because honestly it feels low. But there's that, nothing crazy there. I ungeared Jing Yuan, and is what it is. Topaz, I'm currently in the process of re-gearing and rebuilding. This is not the best version of Topaz I've had. However, her speed is getting really high, so that's actually pretty interesting. Um, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go further. I don't think she needs to be too much high speed. I think I should have more, you know, damage stats with like crit and stuff, but this build is definitely better than what I originally had on her, so this is pretty nice. And the main reason I have this is like the re-geared topaz is because of me building Dr. Ratio, and my Dr. Ratio, whenever he's fully maxed out, will have like apparently 100 to 210 like ratio, which is up there with my Klee U and Acheron's ratio. And so I was like, well, damn, if he has such a correct build, why not I just build him? And so that's basically why I'm building Dr. Ratio, right? That's basically it. And just keep in mind, that is with the set active, mind you. So he's got the full set, right? I've got the full gear here. So him having with the you know, passive active and everything, like over 100 crit rate and then over 200 something crit damage, like that's really good. So I was like, yeah, I'll just build him. That's pretty nice. To speed things up here, we've got my Klee U, which I'm missing 7 crit rate, but in case you've seen my other videos, I actually have more crit damage now. If you want to know how I got more crit damage, it's literally just the fact that I've got multiple really cracked arena pieces. So like you can see here, I've got one with more crit on it right here, but I lose the speed, and so this would mess up the speed tuning, but I could juice the crit damage even more on her if I wanted to. And then there's the old one that I was using, right? And so yeah, I've just gotten really lucky with those pieces, and so my Klee U build just kind of cracked. But I do really want 7 more crit rate, just so she's got that perfect crit ratio. But yeah, is what it is. We are currently in the process of working on a Gwen-Iphon. I really need her to be super fast, but have not had the best luck there, so we're gonna move on from there. My Ting Yun, I've actually re-geared as well, just to work with Acheron, so she gets Acheron like an extra I forget, it's like 600. You get a bunch of attack, and then like almost another 90 damage % from her. And so just because I don't have anybody else to use, I don't have a Sparkle yet, and so I can't throw her in the team with my E2 Acheron. I've just had to use this, and so it sort of is what it is. We have the Asta, which is I also re-geared as well. I know I said earlier I don't like her kit. I don't, but in the hopes that I do get her E6 eventually, she's gonna hopefully have a pretty solid build for her. So there's that. Shui He, she's gonna get a new relic set, so I'm not too worried about it. And yeah, the build's okay. Honestly, the crit is kind of lacking, I'll be honest with you, but it just is what it is. Welth is in a re-gearing process. I've converted back to DPS Welth. I was using pseudo-sustained Welth for a little bit for Acheron, but I have E2, so like there's no point. So yeah, I just did that. As I've said, we're working on Himiko. Again, the ratio is not too good, but we've got the set here, and then obviously completely free-to-play gear. I've actually put gear back on Natasha just to have it. I'm considering using her again to kind of prove a point, but that's just me having brain rot. Hanya's a work in progress, same with Yukong, and then nobody else. Oh, and then there's Herta, who is also a work in progress, and that's really the only build I have to show for. Move on to the next thing, and I'm surprised how long this video is getting, but I'm gonna pause and actually pull it up. Alright, we're far past 20 minutes into the video, and I'm just gonna say I'm probably gonna title this video like That's Free to Play Count or something clickbait like that. But I just sort of wanted to go over the stats screen that we've got here, that we got from you know, Hoyoverse. Talking about how much damage you do and how many credits you earn from your Klee U support going crazy, and then the fact that you've used the Luocha since the start of the game like 6,000 times, right? And so stuff like that. Yeah, and the main thing I want to pull up here is the Abyss. So I've max cleared every single Pure Fiction that has come out, even the ones that wouldn't be suited for my account. So like the DOT one, right? That I struggled on that one a lot, but I had to do a really goofy setup with like abusing action advancement in Herta to sort of force proc DOT from my Jingyuan attacking, because Jingyuan doesn't do enough damage to kill, right? Even with like full buffers, he for whatever reason he just doesn't kill, right? Because his skill does like no damage in comparison to like other AoEs, right? And so I was like doing some like speed abuse thing to just have them wipe out before Lightning Lord went, and then it'd clear away. And so I was able to full clear even like the worst Pure Fictions like that they've put out, right? With just using brain power and the buffs that sort of worked, right? I think I put a video out on that once, but yeah. And then obviously the MOC, I've done a 460 stars. Now I haven't full cleared every MOC, right? Because obviously free to play, gearing up that first couple of months, can't exactly full clear every single MOC, but I've full cleared most of them. I've definitely full cleared every single MOC since Klee U has come out. I believe I was full clearing though before then. I just don't remember. But again, have a pretty good record in terms of beating every single thing in the game. Multiple times even, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? Before we get into like the actual like showcase of you know, like a single run of MOC and whatnot, I do want to talk about future characters in reference of my account, right? What I intend to do. So this I talked about in a couple other areas in the community, right? What I intend to summon for in the future. And currently I don't have anybody that I plan on exactly getting. I have everything I want. I can beat everything in the game. And so I'm kind of just up in that, you know, up in arms where it's like, oh, well, what do I summon for, right? Who do I like, right? Right now, my only intention or character that I like that I don't have is probably Firefly. And so I'll probably get her. I might do a rerun pickup of Sparkle as like a meta pick, but I don't know how impactful she would be on my account. And that's sort of the main reason why I skipped her, is because she does nothing for me. Like, Sparkle does nothing for me, so like, why would I get her, right? And so, yeah, characters like Black Swan and Kafka are waifu pools, so my priority on them is lower than someone like Sparkle, who'd be a meta pick. Aventurine's really good, and I kind of like him, so I'd put him there, right? Silverwolf, I don't think will do anything on my account either, so it's just sort of there. Fuxuan, same thing as Aventurine. She's good. I do think Aventurine's arguably better and more practical, so I definitely get him over her. And we know she's next update too, right? So it just is what it is, right? I'll be skipping her again, just like I'm skipping Klee U this time around because I dumped everything on Acheron, right? Huohuo would be a meta pick, but also I think people overvalue her healing aspect. It's really realistically not that crazy in comparison to the to some other healers. And I mean this specifically with Luocha and Gallagher. They just heal more in their scenarios, right? But obviously she's mainly there for the offensive power, and I don't think I need it, but mainly because I don't run DOT teams. And she's also not as skill point positive, and so it wouldn't work out for my current teams. And so that's why I would not get her, and I also don't like her, so I initially skipped her. Firefly is just because I like her. Robin is an interesting pick. It'd be another meta pick if I got her, but I also don't think I need her either. So it is what it is. And then Jade, it's a waifu pool. I don't need to justify pulling Rune Mei again. I do have E1, but like Rune Mei is broken, so getting more copies of her would be Pog, because then she can one-shot the boss. So, yeah, you know, there's that. That clip of E6 Rune Mei one-shotting the weekly boss is crazy, but the fact that you could go further than that, because that clip is back when she came out, is ridiculous. But anyways, Topaz would just be to buff some other characters, and then I've got everybody else. And then as for everyone down here, I don't like Argenti. I also think he's mid. Blade I like, but he is definitely mid. I think Argenti's worse, probably, though, to be honest with you. Zila is mediocre without her full setup, and I also am not a huge fan of her and how she plays. Dan, I hate how he plays. I don't care how strong he is. His skill point usage and everything is so annoying, and he feels awful even with Sparkle, to be honest with you. And then Boot Hill, I don't like him, so that's a skip. So that's basically that. Time to go into the showcase and talk about the future of the game, my thoughts on the game, all that stuff. It looks like another person used my support, but yeah, let's hop into that. So yeah, in case any of you have seen my like previous video of me doing MOC where I almost died, right? Almost completely lost that last time. Look. Let's just say we're not all perfect gamers, right? Let me turn off auto mode. Oh god, please don't buff Gallagher. Why does the game do this? Why does the game think Gallagher's a DPS character, bro? I don't understand. Why did they all Oh my dude, I don't know why the AI does that. It's so I don't understand. Why does it always pop? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyways, let's just talk about some discussion points that a lot of people like to talk about for, various things in the community. Number one, is this game free-to-play friendly? Yes, it's free-to-play friendly. I've been able to clear all content myself without having to spend money. It's been totally fine. Yeah, all that stuff. I know a lot of people are worried about free-to-play viability, especially in this game because of how seemingly meta-focused it is. I think it's totally fine. It's just, like I said earlier, you need to be conscious over what you're summoning. Don't just dump your summons willy-nilly. A lot of people like doing that, but I highly advise against doing that. I think just dumping your summons willy-nilly will negatively impact your experience because you won't be able to clear content. Or maybe you're one of the people who is so worried about like how a unit performs. What am I trying to say? You're so worried about how a unit performs that you get, blindsided by what they can actually do, right? You hyperfixate on a specific aspect of a character and then not realize what a character can actually do, and then it negatively affects your experience because you summoned for the wrong character, right? All I can really say is pay attention to channels like mine who will do theory crafting, or just anybody who is willing to help out. Because that's what I do every day on stream, right? We talk about the games, and obviously I help my viewers figure their stuff out, what's best for them, right? I live by the fact that, at least in terms of theory crafting and in terms of like gaming in general, that the idea is that you should be giving the player the information, and they do what they want with that information, right? That's what I do here, right? I don't say, oh, you're playing wrong, or all this other stuff, right? We joke about skill issue and all that stuff all the time, but specifically what I do is I provide, what I do here is I provide the information to the viewer so that they can make a better and more informed decision on what they should do in the game, right? That's what I think is the best way to go about this. So if you're new here and haven't played the game, want to learn more about it, stick around, right? That's all I can ask about. But yeah, it is free to play friendly. You just gotta be careful with what you're doing. You don't want to dump your summons on like every single banner. That is a complete waste, and you won't have a good time because you won't know what you're doing with your characters, and then you're also, if you don't upgrade the right things, you'll be wasting your time, and therefore, what am I trying to say? Struggle with content because you've invested into the wrong places and spread out your resources, right? You don't want to do that. And we're gonna kill up here. I don't think this is gonna kill. This new dinosaur creature is really annoying. He takes like 60% less damage than normal whenever he's not weakness broken, and then takes a lot more when he's weakness broken, right? Instead of like getting chunked down by some of the abilities here. And skill here. Is there any other like really good talking point that I should bring up? I'm sure somebody's gonna go down in the comment section. If you guys have any questions about the game or anything about that, you can always ask them. Of course, check out my Twitch where I talk about the game, and there's that, and that's a lot of skill damage. Of course, yeah, I don't really know more to say. I know people love asking about, like, who should I summon for, and as I've been saying, I really think you just summon for who you like. You can't really go wrong. Well, no, you can go wrong. I'll be honest with you. You can go wrong and completely screw over some aspects. You won't break your account. It's just you gotta be careful with your investment because it does take so long to do things in these games, right? It takes a long time to, like, grind up specific gear sets for a lot of characters. Get an ultimate off here. Again, everybody's already, like, if you've been watching the channel, you've probably already seen this if you watched my MOC video, but I'm not going to do anything fancy here. In the one I was planning on doing, trying to do a zero cycle with Acheron E2, I don't think it's possible with my account because I don't have a sparkle. That's a whole other thing, but I do think I need a sparkle to zero cycle with my E2 Acheron, which is very unfortunate. But maybe I just need to get out my totally relatable, triple S5 dance, and I'll be able to, easily zero cycle. Is what it is. But yeah, nuclear take. Jingyu Wan sucks. And you should have summoned for Acheron, otherwise you don't have an account. But yeah, clearing the stage right here, it's going to get the re-break off on Grown May. Gonna basic here just because we don't do anything fancy. Gonna basic again for the SP. Okay, we're gonna get a reset here, which is gonna be nice. I'm not gonna use the ultimate. I'm gonna leave it as is. Yep. Basic with you. Skill Klee U. Pull you back up. Skill again, and then we're gonna ult immediately so that you save the damage increase. Because if you time her ultimate right, you can maximize the damage increase. Right. I'm gonna use this so that we get the speed boost increase. And it maximizes that while proccing off here, so we get a lot of damage. We're gonna force proc to which spin. Here, reskill Rame. Ult here. Actually, I'm gonna ult with the Luocha just so we can get the kills because my team looks pretty well. Gonna get the weakness break off of you. Because she doesn't spend skill points, we're gonna go back up into the turn. And do this. Rume's gonna get healed back up. Awesome. Basically Luocha again. I don't actually have the SP to do this. Right, this is the rotation we finally got in the rotation where I don't have enough SP. And so I'm gonna have to do a basic and then skill again. I'm gonna get the delay. Basic. Rudemay's gonna get the auto skill from Luocha. We're gonna basic here. Skill here. Probably should have used this just to top off on the HP, but this is yeah, I don't really have much more to say. To be honest with you, I think. Oh, no, this is fine. Yeah, I always, again, we could talk about recommendations, like, in another video, right, outside of the showcase video. I'm really just going to show off my, like, 2 favorite teams, or the teams I primarily use for everything nowadays, just because it's, the game has evolved so far to where I just kind of brute force it with Jingyu, right, while, I just have Acheron now, so I can do whatever I want on the other side. Yay, for the funny time. Alright, we're gonna do this. There is no way. Low rolls, boys. Low rolls. Oh, it's only 4? Okay, dude, I was like, there is no way. But we rolled a 4. Okay, cool. 5, yep. Cool. Alright, Luocha, roll a 6. Yep, 6, cool. Cool. We're good. I'm not dead. That's all I was worried about. Because sometimes what happens with this dude is that you do a low roll and they just completely die. And that would have been trash. Oh my god, English. Dude, what? I can't speak anymore. That would have been tragic. I'm just gonna say tragic. Yeah, that word works. Oh my god, bro. What am I doing? Alright, here's the funny one where you have to roll really high. Cool. We got the thing. We're gonna basically Bronya again. She wasn't gonna get anything. It is what it is. Or skills run there. I really need to invest in the effect hit rate into these other characters. Thank you, Luocha, for having CC resist built in, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Alright, we're gonna basic you. and then ult with you, because we're trying to get this break off. Because if he doesn't break, then I'm probably dead. Speed boost, and then we're going to get the break off here, because we're going to action advance forward. Very big chunk of damage off there. Nice, nice, nice. We're going to get the re-break because Ruinmei's effect is up. Alright, now Luocha has a bunch of... I have a bunch of skill points. I'm just going to heal Luocha to try to get the ultimate up, so we can hopefully keep this dude at bay. I'm not sure why my Klee U rotation got messed up there. It might have been because of the speed buff that I messed up right there. But yeah, let's just keep this going. He drains energy, but we're gonna get this proc, and then we're gonna get the ultimate up, just to full heal. Actually, wait, I should have saved this for... Yeah, that was a mistake. Whoopsies! It is what it is. Alright, let's do this. Because Klee U is gonna get her action advance, we're gonna be able to do this. Yep. Let me think. Oh, basic. It's not a big deal. Basic. And then Ruinmei, we got a skill here. Damn. Looking dangerously low there, Bronya. He's gonna auto cast the heal on himself, because whenever you do an additional action, it will proc his talent, right? So that's pretty nice. Full tier. Probably should have activated Bronya's thing first, but yeah, this is a free win. No issues there. Ooh, wow. Actually, one issue. Look at the cycle count. He's very tanky, so yeah, almost not a full clear. That's how it was back whenever I first did it. Yeah, crazy. Crazy how long that boss takes. Wild, but yep, there you go. That's the account showcase. I'm sure some of you want to see pure fiction, but this video's already got long enough. I'm not really sure what else to talk about besides like oh, I should talk about my thoughts on the game. That's right. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, so my thoughts on the game. The first anniversary is alright. Could have been better. I am happy about one thing though. They gave us tin fuel. That is the best thing ever. I'm serious. Before this came out, if you watch my prep video on the anniversary or like what to expect, I was talking about how we wouldn't get a free 5-star because Dr. Ratio is already a free 5-star, and how one of the things I wanted that I'd take over the anniversary is like 100 fuel. They gave us 10 fuel on top of everything else. So I'm extremely happy with that, and that's huge. That's like the best thing they could have done. Just again, give us fuel for this celebration, and that's just what I want to see. Like, that's the best part, because now I can just go and grind, right, and actually play the game. So that's huge. The events were all pretty good. I love the fact that the character selector allowed us to get every single character, every single new 4-star, so that's huge, right? And again, Gallagher's the best pick without question. People like to argue that, but he just is. Unless he's E6, then you pick somebody else. That's probably Gwen Ifen. But yeah, besides the point. My thoughts on the game so far being a year in. I think this game is great. It's really fun. However's has done a great job with this game so far. I haven't really been disappointed in anything. Yeah, I really haven't been disappointed in anything so far. Everything's great. All the characters they've released are pretty nice, except for like the starting few characters. I think some of them have aged terribly, but that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, everything's been good. They've added a lot of good updates, new gear, new story. The story's been fantastic in Penacony so far, so that's awesome. And excited for new characters. As I've said, I think it's free to play friendly, and I'd probably give this game like a 8 out of 10. Like, I think this game is really good. Like 8. What's it? A tier? No, S tier. Yeah, S tier. Because if we're assuming it's a tier list of S plus S, A tier, I'd say this is like a definitely S tier game. This game's been great. You know, it's fun. Everything about it's nice. The sound design, the character design, the story. Like, I just I don't really have any negatives. You know, I've really enjoyed the game, and I'm not even turn-based gamer. Like I don't play any other turn-based games. This is the longest I've ever played a turn-based game, ignoring Dokkan, of course, right? Because, I mean, I consider Dokkan like obviously it's a turn-based game, but like you know what I'm saying, right? The regular format of turn-based where it's your party versus the enemies and all that stuff, right? I don't play those kind of games. So yeah, I mean, I've been really impressed so far. My plans going forward for this are really just keep on playing, enjoying the game, make content for it, right? I got to use this fuel on something, right? There's that. I don't have any advice except for take it chill. Uh, and yeah, yeah, I'm not. That's really it. So yeah, I guess I'll end it here since I can't really think about anything to talk about except for I think this game has been fun. A year in. I'm not. I don't have time to do like a complex review, right? Because I'm not a large enough channel and I've got IRL stuff. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. It's been 45 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little I guess rant about the game, showcasing my account, my thoughts. I don't know if there's anything I missed that people maybe want me to talk about. I could do a separate video, but yeah, like, subscribe, check me out on Twitch, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.